Good to have this dude back in the neighborhood. Jake Paul, welcome back to the neighborhood, bro. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Thank you for having me back. You look good, man. Are you
Man,
doing? You working
I
out or something?
I'm working out, man. I feel good. I'm not at my fighter's weight yet. You know what I'm saying? But I'm at my shooter's weight though. But I'm not at my fighter's weight. You know what I'm saying? But man, I gotta say, bro, like you have really put yourself in a great position. You know what I'm saying? Love you, hate you, whatever people feel, bro. Like you are really in charge of your destiny. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like, bro, as far as when it comes to marketing and things that you're doing and the way that you putting up your numbers, that's the one thing that people can't front on. How has this journey been from going to, the Jake Paul that we know, if we saw the YouTube, if we saw the hip hop career as well, and then what made you test your skills in boxing?
Yeah, look, man, it's been a crazy journey. Lots of ups and downs, and I think, uh, coming from Disney Channel and being like a childhood star, I had to like find myself along the way during this journey. But the crazy part about it was that the whole world was watching me make mistakes. I was
Right.
I was an idiot, man. I was doing stupid stuff. I was acting a fool, and there's no shame in that. Kids will be kids, and I had just had to learn
Yeah.
and find myself. And I think boxing really was the key to that. It gave me something to focus on, outside of, going to the parties, being in the scene, doing all the LA things. And
Right.
I really got focused and got passionate about something. And I was like, yo, I started sparring and I fell in love because I'm from Ohio and grew up playing sports all the time. And when I finally got back to my roots, I was like, okay, this feels good. I sort of got lost in the sauce doing the whole LA thing. And yeah, what a ride it's been. But look, just worked my ass off
Hey,
and here
Jake,
we are.
had you always been like a spectator or a fan of combat as far as like if it's MMA, if it is boxing, had you always enjoyed it?
Yeah, I grew up a huge MMA fan, huge boxing fan. I remember my dad taking us to MMA fights when I was like 10, 12 years old, when it was first a thing,
Hmm.
before people really even knew what it was. We were going to these like underground MMA fights in Ohio. And I thought it was the coolest thing. The fighters were playing their walkout music. They would go in there. And since then, I've really been enamored with it. And so I really was a student of the sport before I even went into the sport.
What make you go from being a student and looking at it and going to it? Because everybody that's pretty, not everybody, but a lot of us that sit in the arena always want to call out to what's going on either in the ring or in the octagon, but no one really wants to get in there. What made you say, you know what, man? I'm going to get in there. I'm going to try it. Sparring and working out. We all work out. We all hit a bag. Everybody. You see people punching on their Instagrams and
Yeah.
everything now. What made you get into it where it became, combat?
I think there was a point in my life where I just felt like I was fighting for everything that I had. And I kept on losing. I kept on getting beat up by the media, by getting beat up, making mistakes in real life. And I just kept on losing. I kept on losing. I kept on losing. And when I got into the ring, I could actually control the outcome. And I felt like it gave me something to fight for. And I think there was a time where people didn't have any respect for me and what I was doing in my career. And I think the fight game, prove to people like this kid isn't going anywhere. And no matter how much the media or how bad we want to paint a picture of him, he's going to keep on fighting through all this. And when I just got in there and started fighting, I could let go of some of that anger, some of that anxiety, some of those that negativity. It all started to like wash off of me, and I just fell in love with the feeling of cracking someone in the face,
Yeah.
honestly.
Hey man, and get paid extremely well for it. You know what I'm saying? We usually catch a case off or something like that, but to set it up and you go after people, bro, that when we look at, the Nate Robinsons of the game, Askren, it's not exhibition fights. We starting to see like exhibition fights and they look a little bit more choreographed. You know what I'm saying? Like your fights are fights. Like, you know what I'm saying? Someone can get hurt as we have seen.
Yeah, look, I'm staying away from the fake fights. I want all real pro fights. and I'm just increasing the level of my opponents, the level of my opposition. I want a challenge each time, and that's what I've done. You know, each opponent gets harder and harder and harder, and for me, that's awesome. Look, if I'm in training camp busting my ass every single day and I'm going into a fight where I know I'm gonna win, that's not fun. I want a challenge. I want, there to be some level of unknown to the whole entire situation. That's what pushes me to be the best version of myself.
You know what's crazy, man? And you've been a spectator and a fan of boxing and MMA as well. You get these people where it's like, I remember with Mike Tyson, I had a buddy of mine, his mom wanted Mike Tyson to get his ass whooped so bad. And, of course, it didn't happen in her lifespan. She ended up passing. And then you always see like the Floyd Mayweathers of the world. People can't wait to see Floyd. And I think there's people that feel that same way about you. They can't wait to see you lose. And then when you win, you have the biggest nanas ever.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Do you feel that from the people when they watch you either train or leading up to a fight and even after a win?
100%. I think most people probably want to see Jake Paul get knocked out. I think that's what everyone's banking on for this fight, August 29th against Tyron Woodley. I think, a lot of the world wants to see me lose, and that drives me. I love that. I love putting myself and putting my back against the wall because it drives me to work harder in training. I'm running on the track, during the hardest moments, the sprints, or when I'm in sparring and, it's 100 degrees out and we're doing round after round after round. I just think of, the things that people said about me on Twitter, in the comments, on the interviews. And I just remember that in the back of my head. And I'm like, I can't give up right now because in the fight, things can even get harder than this. And so it drives me to be the best version of myself and to work even harder.
And you know what's crazy too, Jake? In just a so-called small amount of time, it take a lifetime to get to where you're doing. But in a small amount of time, everyone calls your name out. Like literally, you could have 5 fights just with the, I want to see the Conor McGregor. I see the game called. I see Diaz. You know what I'm saying? Of course, Woodley. It's like everybody, your name is on everybody's tongue. How do you pick who that next opponent is going to be? How did you pick Woodley?
Yeah, so I think it comes from A, challenging myself, and B, the business side of it, and then and C, giving the fans what they want too. Like I don't want to do some fight that people won't tune into.
Right.
So, if the fighter makes sense and they're a free agent or the promoter is able to do it. We've talked to, 10 different people, and then, okay, only Tyron Woodley wants to actually sign the contract, because a lot of times some of these pro boxers or whatever, we go to sign a deal with them and all of a sudden they want to get paid 3 times as much. And that's their excuse to not taking the fight.
Right.
So when it comes to actually inking the deals, a lot of these fighters won't do it, or the timing doesn't make sense for them, or they don't want to go into a training camp right then and there. The business side of the whole entire fight is huge for me as well. I want to sell as many pay-per-views as possible and make historic events. So it has to be against someone that has a big name and will sell a lot of pay-per-views.
Hey, man, and right now you're in the pay-per-view reigning kings right now. You know what I'm saying? And you got to think too, Jake, and you know it, I know it. It can't be anything but better from here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's got to get bigger and it's got to get better. And just like we've seen boxers in the past or MMA fighters in the past, they can pick and choose who they so-called give that opportunity to as well. Because anyone that gets into the boxing ring with you, if they don't have their M's already, they become an instant millionaire.
Exactly. That's a huge part of this is anyone that I fight becomes famous.
Right.
I double or triple their business. For Tyron Woodley, this is the biggest payday of his career by 2.5 times. But look, I want fighters to get paid. I want anyone who fights me to benefit. And because if they get knocked out after, at least they got their bread.
Yeah.
But look, the like you said, the pay-per-views are only increasing, but I just have to keep on winning in violent fashion and the numbers keep on going up. And I think we could see Jake Paul become one of the highest paid athletes in the world in the next 24 months.
Hey man, I don't doubt it, bro. I don't doubt it. And we just had a chance to witness Conor McGregor. And I know that Conor McGregor, his name been in your mouth. You
Yep.
said you could get 50 million on the table. And with what happened last weekend, does that take away the opportunity of a Conor McGregor Jake Paul fight?
Look, I mean, we'll see what happens.
Because now you're offering $23 though, Jake. You
Yeah,
know
so
what I'm
that's
saying?
what I was gonna say. Is I tweeted and I was like, my new offer for Conor McGregor is $23. Look, what's gonna happen with this guy, right? Like such a meteoric star that has come plummeting down to the ground, hasn't won a fight, or is 1-3 in the past 5 years, and just seems to have lost the sauce. Something's off about him, man. It's his body, his age, the drinking, with his whiskey probably caught up to him. And this is the tough business, and any weaknesses will get exposed. But I still see a Jake Paul versus Conor McGregor fight happening. Yeah. It just like, if he keeps on going this way and I keep on going that way, like I'm not going to need him. So right. He might need me more than I need him. And as crazy as that sounds, because Conor McGregor is the big name we all know in the fight business, but I don't want to fight a loser.
Right. Damn. I'm telling you, man, like that was one of those fights. And when I saw him go down, right, and I saw the injury, I said, you know what, man, he can get himself well enough to box you. You know what I'm saying? Like with MMA, I don't know what that's going to heal like, but you seen when he was still on his ass, he was still talking shit. You know what I'm saying? Like he was on, like I never seen Joe Rogan have to sit down next to somebody. It was like, it was a messed up shot too, bro. You saw him, he was down there laying down with him. And I've never seen anything like that, but he kept Conor McGregor up. So marketing-wise, I think that he'll keep his name in a position where we could possibly see you guys. You know what I'm saying? And as a spectator and as a pay-per-view buyer, I hope so. But the one thing we know, you don't have to wait on him.
Exactly. Look, there's a whole list of other names that I'm going after, and I have a hit list, and
can you give me a couple that's on the hit list?
Yeah, look, I mean, Nate Diaz is high up there.
I was about to say that one. I would love to see it. I would just love to see, even if y'all didn't fight, I would just love to see what led up to the fight.
Yes, yeah, that would be some of the craziest shit talking that may ever happen in the sport. But I think that fight is very, very, very real. Kamaru Usman and I were going back and forth. Tommy Fury, the little brother of Tyson Fury, going back and forth. So, there's still some unsettled beef in the YouTube world. I might just knock one of them out for charity.
Right.
The game was talking smack. I might just knock him out for charity. So, look, as fast as the lawyers and managers can get these deals done, I'm getting in the ring and knocking these guys out, because there's just bags. I see giant bags of money in the middle of the ring, and I'm going to pick them up. So let's sign the deals, knock out these people, because I'm ready. I'm training it. I'm about this life, and we can go back to back and run it as fast as we can get these deals done.
Hey man, have you in game had a real conversation about possibly lacing up, or has it been more social media?
It's been more social media.
But that could be something down the line too.
I mean, it would just be an easy fight. So I'll probably just do it like for charity, or like to raise money for a good cause. I have my foundation, my charity that's launching here in the next couple of days, actually, that we've been working on for a while. So I might knock them out for boxing bullies and donate all the money. But we'll see.
Is Floyd Mayweather really that mad at you? Was that and I don't think it was set up. But have you guys had a chance to talk?
We have not spoken, but he was definitely very, very pissed. I think it comes from like us being the new kids on the block and actually getting under his skin and making him feel insecure with this shit talk. But what's crazy about it is why after 50 fights of people talking shit about him, his family, why does it take, the two Paul brothers to actually get under his skin and make him lose his cool? I think things have cooled off, since the fight happened. I haven't heard anything. Floyd said that he wanted to fight me, but I would have to cut weight to 147 pounds or something.
And what are you right now sitting there?
I'm like 200 right now.
Yeah.
There's no possible way I could cut, even like I would die if I cut that much weight. So, I think it's funny, right? Like before he called us fake fighters, and then after the fight, he says, "Oh, I'll fight Jake, but he has to cut 53 pounds." So look, I mean, I think people are slowly starting to realize that that we can knock people out, I can knock people out, and that we're serious about this business.
Hey man, do you feel like you're in a position, man, where people it's for one, you keep winning. For one, another thing, bro, is you know how to that's what boxing is. There's some great fighters as well, Jake, and you know this. There's some great fighters. And you say, man, they're great fighters, but they don't get pay-per-view. They're great fighters, but they're not household names because they don't know how to use their mouths and market people. There's a reason why Conor McGregor is the person that he is because he knew how to talk.
Yep.
Floyd Mayweather knows how to talk. There were just some people that say, you know what, and then you back it up with the skill.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So I think that with your gift of gab and getting under people's skin or being some people hate that you're positive. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like some people are upset that you say, man, I'm going to win this fight. So I think you use everything in your power, and I think that you use everything to benefit you, and I don't feel like that's a bad thing at all. I want to see y'all fight.
No, I appreciate that. And I think, like you said, fighters need to understand that this is a two-part thing. It's the sport and then the business. And so
Yeah.
I encourage, and I've been talking and trying to inspire some of these other fighters in the game who are incredible, some of the best fighters in the world. I'm like, dude, start a YouTube channel, make a podcast, post on your Instagram, update your stories. It's the simple things like that that are going to grow their fan base. And I think that's really the impact I want to have on this sport and the fight world in general, is just showing the younger generation of the new kids coming up how to do this and how we as fighters in general can grow and make this sport even more popular than it already is.
Hey man, when you saw like the Nate Robinson memes, did you use any of those?
I did. I did. I tried to like be respectful. Like I was sort of contradicted within myself, because I was like, I feel bad for him, but at the same time, like, he's a man, a grown-ass man, and he signed up to get into the ring. And from day one, he was talking shit, saying he was going to fuck me up. And so I was contradicted. I was like, damn, I feel bad for him because of how much he's getting. But
Right.
he also said that he was going to knock me out. And it's a fight, and it's a tough business, and it takes a lot of balls to step into that ring. So I respect Nate Robinson as an athlete. He's a legend. We can't take away from what he's done in his basketball career. And that's why I was contradicted about like posting the memes at the end of the day. So it was always like a 50-50 thing with me. But yeah, I would use some of them. And
Hey man, I just want to run through this this checklist right here. All righty. And this was in the last couple months,
This
if
was
that?
in early May.
All righty. FaceTime with Donald Trump. Done that. Bieber performed at my fight. And this is just on your board.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Of accomplishments in a little bit of time. FaceTime with Donald Trump. Bieber performed at my fight. DM by Drake. I don't know what the hell that was, but we're going to talk about that. Sold 1.5 million pay-per-views. Top 10 ever. Shut down UFC 261. Almost fought DC Daniel Cormier. Brought my idol Lil Wayne on stage. Knocked out Ben Askren in first round. took shots with Snoop Dogg, took $1 million from Dana White. Usman became a fan, had a mosh pit with Tiger, moved to Puerto Rico. How many more things do you think you can add to that list now?
There's more,
Yeah.
but that was definitely like one of the craziest like stints of my life when all of that happened. I sort of reflected and I was like, wow, how did this all just happen in the past month? This is absolutely crazy.
And you could tell that they just kept coming because the writing started getting smaller at the bottom. You know what I'm saying?
It's like, wait, one more.
Where he was like, oh, shoot, hold on. Wait, let me get this in there.
Bro, it took me like 30 minutes to write that because I'd be like thinking like, bro, I think I did something else. I just don't even remember. I'm like, oh yeah, like I was in the crowd with Tiger performing Taste. Like we just kept on adding to it, man. But look, man, sometimes when I slow down my life, I'm like, this is crazy. And I just look back and I'm like, look at where I started and look how far I've come. And I just am so thankful for my fans and anyone who's been a part of this journey, because without these people, my team, even around me, it's just not even possible to get where I've gotten.
What have you learned in the last year?
Man, I think the biggest thing is surround yourself with like-minded individuals who will push you and demand excellence from you, and that your team and the community you create around you is probably one of the most important things. And I learned to not set limits for myself. Before I would think something was too far out of reach. Even when I first started saying to myself, I can fight Conor McGregor. Like, I want to fight Conor McGregor. At first I was like, damn, am I crazy for like setting that goal? And 18 months later, it's like, I don't even know if I want to do it.
Right.
So I learned like not to set limits for myself and to think of the most impossible thing that you can accomplish and just go for it. Because even if you shoot for that and you miss, you're still going to land somewhere super, super high up.
Man, and I think that, bro, like for those of us that do mess with you and for those that don't, you know what I'm saying? It's like the fan base. I mean, your haters are probably your biggest supporters in a certain way, where when you do a sellout pay-per-view or you do a sellout gate or you do a hell of a pay-per-view, that's not just everybody that loves you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Those are the people that's also like, man, I'm going to pay to see this dude get knocked out tonight. And as long as you keep putting up these W's, man, and you pick and choose, and it's real opponents. Like, I'm seeing people now, bro, that I'm like, oh, okay, well, he's not playing with this. I recently, and I didn't peep it out, but I know that they had the YouTube and the TikTokers fighting, right?
Yep.
And that looked a little bit like, okay, well, it looked like a good setup. But I didn't see it as like, man, I'm watching the fights tonight. You know what I'm saying? It was different than, man, oh, I'm watching this fight tonight. I'm paying for this fight. Like, when you fight, I say I'm watching this fight.
Yep. No, I think there's a time and effort you have to put in this sport to become an actual real pro. And that's been my goal since day one, is to become one of the best. And I would tell myself that in practice, I'm the best. And at first it seems crazy, but you slowly start to progress. And now I think people really respect me as a real fighter.
Do you think that your brother Logan, does he have a career in boxing, or you think he just gonna kind of like, do pick and choose? And you know what I'm saying? It's more of a business thing. Is it a different passion?
I think he has a career in boxing, man.
Okay.
I think after the Floyd fight, I think it ignited something inside of him where he fell even more in love with the sport. And I see a different passion inside of him now. And I think he will keep on fighting and take on tough opponents and beat them. He has as a fighter has improved so much over the past 24 months, and I'm excited for him to go against an MMA fighter or another celebrity because he will knock them out. Right? He went 8 rounds with one of the best fighters that has ever walked this planet, and so the sky is the limit for him as well.
Hey man, would you ever get out of boxing and fight in an MMA discipline?
I was talking about this with my brother actually.
Yeah.
I think it's possible. Like, I honestly think it would be fun. We have a wrestling background, so I grew up state championship wrestling, Ohio Division one of the hardest states. I know a little bit of jiu-jitsu, so I wouldn't say no, man. And I think there's gonna be, like, as I keep on boxing, I think there's gonna be this like itch that like just keeps on coming back.
Damn, like the checklist.
Yeah, get in there, man. Go to an MMA fight. Go to an MMA fight. But for the foreseeable future, it's all boxing.
Hey man, does it get so-called dangerous for you and your brother now, like being even more of a public figure as opposed to Disney or having a new YouTube channel or blogs or anything of that nature? Because now other people know exactly who you are and everybody's not a fan.
Yeah, for sure. We're definitely polarizing figures, and look, you just gotta watch your back and move smart. And people have a target on my back, I think, more than a lot of other celebrities in the world. And it's just about knowing that, understanding that, and like staying out of trouble.
Hey man, you're vocal, and Dana White is very vocal. You know what I'm saying? And you don't want anything from Dana White, so you get a chance to say exactly what you want to say. And what's not the beef, because I know that there's a problem, but why are you and Dana so vocal?
I think we just disagree on a lot of things. And he hasn't given me credit where credit is due because he wants his organization to seem like the best fight organization or the best thing in the world, when in reality it's not. And me coming along and being a new figure in the fight game sort of exposes that, because no one else really in the fight game wants to talk shit about Dana White because he's very influential in the fight game, or they want to go to the UFC events. But me personally, I just don't care. And my mission is to leave an impact on this sport and change it, even if I died tomorrow. And so when I talk about things like fighter pay, where the UFC, if the UFC makes $100 million, their fighters only get 10 million of that. So who's taking the other 90 million? That is the league with the biggest gap in their player to owner ratio of how much they get paid. In the NBA, if the NBA makes 100 million, their players get 50. So these fighters are going in there, risking their lives, breaking their shins in half, repeated head traumas, and they're not getting paid fairly. I've played every sport, and by far fighting is the hardest. And so, to me, I don't think that's cool. And I think Dana White is a liar. I think he's a coward, and I think he's a greedy asshole. And I don't like that.
You're not going to tell us how you really feel? You're just going to duck the question? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, come on.
I thought for sure you would have answered the question. Hey, Jake, were you at the fight over the weekend? Because I saw Logan. Were you at the fight? How do you get tickets to a UFC fight when you're like damn near a nemesis?
Yeah, my friend actually gave them to me. and look, I think the same thing, right? But some of my friends are UFC fighters, Sugar Sean O'Malley. Like, I mainly went to support him, and I'm a fight fan, always have been. So I want to go see these fights, and I wanted to troll McGregor. Like, I had my
chain,
the Sleepy McGregor chain on.
Oh my gosh!
Conor actually was like walking around the ring right when he got into it, and he like stopped and like looked at me, and I was like going like this.
Oh my God.
And yeah, we definitely don't get along. But he was trying to send me some like negative energy, and then he got his ass kicked. So it was pretty funny.
Hey man, was that chain, that necklace, was that 100 racks?
Yeah, man. It's so the
Small down payment to the future, huh?
yeah. So the tennis chain and the actual like the custom making that piece of him sleeping there was expensive, man. But I actually hit up Dustin Poirier, and I was like, "Yo, do you want this chain? Like, I'm gonna send it to you." And he told me to send it to him. So we'll see what happens. I think I'm gonna send it to his address, because I think if anyone deserves the Sleepy McGregor chain, it's Dustin Poirier.
I love that you titled it. You know what I'm saying? All right. Oh, the Sleepy McGregor chain. Yeah, you could definitely have that.
Connor's gonna want to like smash that chain though. Like I feel like it's a jinx. Like you almost kind of jinxed him in that way.
So that
Especially when he made eye contact with you. It's probably like, woo.
it was like a voodoo doll.
Yes.
Afterwards, I tried to I had the chain, and I tried to snap the ankle off with a hammer.
Oh, damn. You were ready to damage it?
Yeah, but it wouldn't break. I was like, damn, this thing's stronger than McGregor.
Oh, and big ups to the jeweler as well. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Big ups to the jeweler.
I had the jeweler up. I was like, bro, this thing's indestructible.
Hey, man, I want to do something what you call for reals, for false. If it's something that's for real, just give me for real. If it's something for false, label it as such. Jake Paul, trained to be a Navy SEAL.
For real.
What goes down with that?
When I was 15 years old, and everyone was like deciding what colleges they wanted to go to and what they were going to do, I wasn't interested in any of that. And I loved everything that had to do with becoming a Navy SEAL, the challenge, the mental preparation, going through buds. And that's what I wanted to do. And so I started training like with my dad, doing pull-ups, push-ups, swimming across lakes, sitting in freezing cold water. Because that's really what I wanted to do. And then got famous, moved to LA, did the whole Disney Channel thing.
Hey, man, for real, for false. When you decided to drop out of high school, a teacher asked him, like, what are your plans when this social media thing slows down? For real, for false.
For real.
Damn. You ever invite that teacher to, like, a fight or send somebody something?
I emailed them when I went to the White House. I took a picture of me in front of the White House, and I was like, teacher, students, some real shit, and I sent them an email.
Damn. Hey, man, but that's petty, but that's deserved.
Petty as fuck.
But it's good petty, though. You know what I'm saying? You're supposed to do something like that. Exactly. All righty now. His dad gave him and his brother Sony camera to film like y'all football stuff. You know what I'm saying? The football games, so y'all can get serious about becoming better athletes. All right. They ended up using the camera to film their funny bits together.
For real.
I heard that. Did Pops ever get mad at you guys? Like, what are y'all doing?
Nah, he was actually like our biggest fan. We would make the videos, edit it, and then go show him, and he'd be like, like laughing, and thought it was awesome.
Hey, man, and then you fast forward. Pops is still with us, of course.
Yep.
Okay, so what does he feel about, like you guys now? Big and only becoming bigger.
I don't think he's ever been more proud. And, we talk about it all the time of spending Saturdays going to fights and watching fights. And he's like, as a dad, this is like the coolest thing that you guys could be doing. And he literally like cries when he talks about it.
Does he get nervous for you? And not nervous as in loss, but just nervous as in, that's my son getting into the ring.
I think there's a bit of nerves. I think it comes out more in training camp. He's calling me every day, like, how did sparring go? Yeah. How'd your jog go? How was your workout? How's your sparring? Like, he just wants to make sure that everything in training leading up to the fight is going good.
Right, but you take it very serious, though. You know what I'm saying? So, and I'm pretty sure that he has to put that, because it's obvious, bro, just looking at it, you put the work in as opposed to showing up for a check. You know what I'm saying?
100%. Look, people want to see me lose, and I know that. So I have to take it more serious than everyone else to become better than them.
One summer when he was about 15, he and his brother started their own landscape company.
For real.
Can you imagine if y'all would have just been like the Paul brothers, like, you know what I'm saying? Landscapers, like, man, those are some great brothers, man. They do a great job on your hedges. So at 15, you guys said, you know what, we want to become entrepreneurs?
I was actually 14. My brother was 16.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it was right when Logan got a car, and we would put the lawnmower in the back of the car, some of the tools. And yeah, we didn't want to go like work at a fast food restaurant or something like the normal 14 or 15-year-old does. And we just started mowing lawns, and our business was growing, and we were hustling, man. We were getting referrals, and we had flyers that we would hand out. So it was working.
Hey, man, it had to be times when you thought that, like, man, this is it. Like, you land Disney, you think, man, you know what I'm saying? This is it. There's so many where you hit and you like, oh, man, this is huge. And then you go on and say, all right, if it's YouTube, if it's a podcast, if it's this, like, there had to be moments where you thought you arrived. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And now when you look at it now, it's like, you know, of course, those are major feats and great movements for you. But you got to look at it now like, man, what's next if you thought that you had arrived before?
Dude, I couldn't say it better. And that's why I said, like, I just don't put limits on anything I do anymore.
Man, well, I thank you for your time, bro. And like I said, man, you've come into the neighborhood every time I've seen you. You know, anytime I needed you, you answer my calls. You were always kind to my kids as well, man. So it goes beyond what's happening with the boxing and everything. Like I've seen and I've shook and I know you. You know what I'm saying? So I love what you're doing, bro. And continue to, you know, keep shocking the world, bro. That's what you're supposed to do.
I appreciate it, man, and thank you for having me on your show. You're a legend, man. So
thank you, brother. Thank you. I get some tickets to the next fight for the you know, being that I'm a legend. Hey, man, and just real quick, the Drake DM you. What the hell did he say in the DM?
He said, "You're a demon, Crody." It was right after I knocked out Ben, and he just goes, "You're a demon, Crody."
And you was like, man, well, let's do a song together because you know I got that too. You know what I'm saying? You're like,
I think I said that. I was like, "Wagwan fam, I need a feature."
I'm throwing it right back at you. Hell yeah. So did he tell you when the Certified Lover Boy album is coming out?
No, man, I'm waiting. I've been waiting, man. Just like everyone else.
Yeah, man. Well, I thank you for your time, brother. And I know you got things to do, man. Time is precious, and I thank you for that.
100%, man. Have a good
All right,
day.
Jake, you be good, man. God willing, I'll see you soon. If not, I'll see you back in Zoom.
Yes,
all right.
All right.
Take care. Be safe.